Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Wednesday, April 13th, 2022 by Gaia Blooming. I'm Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I listen to my vibes and notice which ones are authentic to who I am. And today is an overall quieter day transit-wise. We're going to have Jupiter and Neptune dancing together for a little while. So that magic continues. Seeking out your magic, seeking out the magic in the universe continues. However, there is a thing that I haven't mentioned too much this week that definitely deserves a mention and definitely feels like what I'm focusing the scope around. We have Mars about to finish up in Aquarius, move into Pisces. Mars is at the final degrees. And like everyone I've talked to is like, I can't sleep. And I would think that chances are this Mars in Aquarius at these final degrees is probably a good reason why. Aquarius energy is ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is a higher octave of Mercury. It's similar to Mercury. It stimulates the mind. It stimulates the mental within us. And with Mars there, it's like the mind is running on a treadmill. Like the vibes out there are running on a treadmill. I've been hearing a lot about solar storms as well. So there's probably some of that going on. But until Mars shifts, and even after that, which we'll discuss just a little bit, until Mars shifts on Thursday evening, you are going to be feeling these strong Aquarius vibes, and sleep may be challenging. One of the best remedies is taking time to get grounded. Now, being grounded can be like walking outside, getting outside in nature, butt in mud, sitting outside in nature, but it can also be working on your grounding cord. And so if you don't know what that is, look into that because that's something that can help. And I would suggest what I do when I struggle with sleep is even if you can't sleep, resting, making sure you're getting time to rest, meditate. See if you can slow the hamster wheel. That can definitely help. Now, with Mars at these final degrees of Aquarius, there's also an interesting energy that's afoot. What came up with this was being aware where you carry the war vibe within. We all have pieces of warmonger in us, and it can be taught, it can be conditioning. As I was thinking about it, I was like, where in my life have I mostly seen that come out? And I would say a lot of times for me, I see it come out on the freeway when you're, riding up on somebody or like yelling at them, they're frustrating you. Joe would like to chime in. What are you chiming in?
Because people think it's an armored chariot.
Oh.
I actually had a whole lesson on this.
Interesting.
For about 4 hours. Inadequate males that feel like they have to adequate themselves will use I'm in an armored chariot. I can cut somebody off.
But it's not just them. Like, I know...
Oh, right. You're in a rage. You're in this and you're
many
that.
people who drive like this, and I have too.
Most people don't even realize that they're doing it.
Right.
And that's what the person on the receiving end has to realize.
And we can make ourselves conscious of where we do things like this. Again, where the war can come out, where this lack of peace, where this lack of harmony can come out. And a lot of times it's when the stress builds up within us. Stress, my favorite definition of stress is where our basic needs are not being met. And a lot of times, like if we're not on time and that's something that's a stressor to us, that can push us to those places. So while Mars, the planet that represents war among other things, is working these final degrees, recognizing where you carry that vibe. Because we are all part of the change, and recognizing where we are not at peace brings huge shifts. And so that's something we can all do in this energy. We also have a little bit of a yod going on. It's a fast-moving yod between the moon in Virgo, Chiron in Aries, and Vesta in Aquarius. Vesta represents our divine light, and recognizing that vibration within us, as well as recognizing where the war can come through, that is a very powerful piece in and through ourselves. And that's part of what we're doing with the Chiron work, recognizing and remembering who we are. with this yod focusing on the moon in Virgo, remembering this body, mind, spirit, soul, and heart can be very healing to these pieces. When you remember you are this divine being, suddenly getting somewhere at 7 a.m. on the dot is not as important, or whatever these stressors are that we've made more important than being grounded, more important than being human, more important than being divine souls. So that's huge. That being said, there's definitely going to be some triggers to start the day as the moon and Uranus start in a connection. Anytime we have Uranus is going to be like, missed a spot, there it is. And oh my goodness, does that bother the Virgo, right? The Virgo does not want to miss a spot. Talk about a stressor. So that is where we're going to be starting the day off with that. Besides that, it's quiet, still marinating in the magic like I mentioned. We are still working the nodes along with Saturn, although it's starting to distance itself just a little bit. But keep in mind, leaning into pleasure, leaning into your worth, and staying out of the fear zones, because the fear is also one of those stressor buttons, and it's being so highly pushed right now. That being said, I have beautiful cards for today. Patience, next to Beyond Illusion. The Patience card, settling into ourselves, getting beyond the illusions of these things that push us. The Source card, remembering who we are. And who are we? Well, we are a member of the friendly universe, right? And so these cards all together are so beautiful in this energy, but it is going to take remembrance. I also have the Schizophrenia card in reverse. The Mars, I mean, there might even not be time for this way or that way or this way or that way, you know, with the Mars, all the energy up in Aquarius at this moment. But watch if you find yourself swinging back and forth. And notice, as we are working our final week of Sun in Aries, oh my gosh, Aries has flown by, what is authentic to who you are? Because so many times, these layers like the war and the stress, these are conditioned layers and not layers of truth. So that's it for today. You can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com for that. It's always posted below if you can't catch it because I speak too fast. What else was I going to say? Oh, eclipse readings are going on. So fascinating they've been. Reach out for that or a regular reading. Besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and honor your values. Namaste.